This is very, very troubling, I think, for probably everybody on the commission to hear this as we attempt to digest this. It seems we've got an agency that is rogue. We've got a large piece of government that's operating rogue and not apparently not even contemplating its fiduciary responsibilities to the taxpayers of the state of Minnesota. So very troubling. Thank you for bringing that to light. But the question, of course, that remains with all of us is why? And probably Mr. Kirchner with you too, I'm guessing. And as I think about that, there might be 2 or 3 explanations. We've got an agency that's inept. That could be one. There could be corruption, or it could be a combination of the two. Obviously people are going to say there's ineptitude here, and it appears there's a great deal of it. Did you ever suspect there was any corruption that may exist of any sort as you piled through these documents and interviewed people, and your mind asked the same question that mine just did?
Commissioner.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It is absolutely a responsibility of this office to report on instances of corruption that we find. And had we seen anything like that, we would have put it in the report. We did not.
Senator Drazkowski.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Kirchner. That answers a question for me. And I'm reading your recommendations, Mr. Kirchner, and the recommendations for the council. And I know some of these have been discussed in the past, and it seems that the council isn't following some of the recommendations of the past. We don't know if they will follow these. I haven't digested what their responses were yet, and we're going to hear from the Commissioner Zelli. But what recommendations would you have for us as a legislature, given what you have experienced and where we're at this point in time?
Mr. Kirchner.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you for the question, Senator Drazkowski. This particular report focuses really on contract management processes, and we view those as being kind of within the purview of the agency. And so we do not have recommendations for the legislature in this report, but our recommendations from the first report, several of which were to the legislature, still stand. We certainly think that the legislature needs to be paying closer attention to what the Metropolitan Council is doing. We think the legislature, as we said in that first report, ought to create a framework in which the government entity that is building a light rail also bears some financial responsibility, so that if they have cost overruns, it hurts. And if they save money, then they have extra money that they can spend. We think that would be a better process. And we think that the legislature needs to inform the Metropolitan Council needs to inform the legislature. No, I'm rephrasing that. Thank you. Judy is pointing to the recommendation. The legislature should require the Metropolitan Council to inform the legislature when there are cost overruns. And there is already a legislation that is out there for this particular project that has that requirement in there. But we think that law could be tightened. And we also think that it could apply to all light rail projects and not just to Southwest Light Rail. So those recommendations still stand.
Senator Drazkowski.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Kirchner. Those are excellent recommendations, and I thank you for those, and thank you again, Mr. Chair.